For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble, and a Happy New Year to ya, as they say. And I guess also, I mean, it's Merry Christmas, Merry Kwanzaa, Happy Kwanzaa, everything. Anything that's going to offend you if you don't believe in that celebration, right? That's kind of how it's gone. For so long now, we've had to tiptoe around saying Merry Christmas to people because it's offensive, and I don't necessarily agree with that, right? If somebody wishes me Happy Hanukkah, I'm not Jewish, but okay, like, I'm not going to get offended and freak out by that. I might just correct them and say, you know, it's Christmas for me, or I don't celebrate Hanukkah, something like that. I just don't see why we get so up in arms about things. Like, we're just that uptight about things. If somebody comes to you and says happy birthday and it's not your birthday, don't tear their face off and make it seem like they're the most horrible person in the world, do you? I mean, that's just, it's not, I don't know. But, you know, today's society is today's society. What can I say? So it's 2017 now. Everybody has their New Year's resolutions out, and maybe they've kept them, maybe they haven't. Have you made one? It's usually the standard things, right? I'm going to exercise more, I'm going to eat better, I'm going to stop smoking, I'm going to vote for a smarter president. You know, things like that people say that they're going to do. I'm counting down the days, like a lot of people outside of the United States, let me tell you. But this is the time where you make a New Year's resolution, and, you know, quite frankly, people just don't keep them. And my thing is that if you wanted to get into better shape, you don't need to start finding like a day on the calendar of when you're going to do it. If it's that important to you, you'll start right now. And, you know, I did that a couple years ago. I bought a treadmill, and people were saying, oh, you know what, I bought a treadmill, it just sits in the corner of my room. Oh, yeah, I never use it. Well, the thing is that I enjoy walking. I enjoy going out with my dogs, and in the blistering cold winter, it's just not possible sometimes. Or in the summer when it's raining, those are my, I guess I'll call them excuses to use it then. So, sure, the treadmill for the most part sits idle most of the summer, but that's because we're out getting fresh air, and we're out walking the streets in the public parks and things like that, and we're having a good time. So if you make a New Year's resolution, I would love to hear from you. live@jbonair.com is the email address, live@jbonair.com. Now, several weeks ago, we were in Montreal celebrating Christmas, and we were doing our travel broadcasts on the radio from there. This week on the podcast, we are going to be playing you some of the highlights. We're going to the Barbie Expo. We're going to a spa that's on an old ferry boat, and have a treat going back to Houston, Texas, when we were there as well at the beginning of December. It's coming up today, right now, on The Scribble.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Jeremy Bradley here, back live from Montreal, Quebec. You can see all the fun that I've been having here. Montreal.jbonair.com is where we've got that. And right now, I'm at something very uniquely Montreal here in the city. I'm at the Barbie Expo. I'm with Valerie Lee, who's going to tell us about this gem. It really is a gem, because you were telling me over 1,000 Barbie...
1,000 dolls in the expo. It is the largest permanent exhibit in the world. We're very lucky to have it here in our location, in our mall at Montreal, and very excited to have this. It's opened up last February in 2016. So we have over 1,000 dolls, and it's the newest attraction in Montreal, and you will see we have all kinds of Barbies in the expo. You have the Barbies from the entertainment industry, Barbies dressed by the leading fashion designers. We have Barbies from the characters from Hunger Games, Wizard of Oz, personality Barbies, Kate Middleton.
You got William and Kate here. I mean, so this isn't necessarily, people hear Barbie, they think of toys and things like that. This is very chic. Like, these are fashionable Barbies.
Yes, indeed. It is a magical exhibition of haute couture Barbie here in Montreal.
Okay, so let's just rewind then how this all got started, because you were telling me before we went on the air that planning started a couple of years ago, right? And you just recently opened.
Yes, 2 years ago we came up with this idea and how to tie in the haute fashion couture, haute designers brand that we have already in the mall, and to tie in all the brand names that you can find in the mall, and how to showcase this under the same roof, I should say. And we came up with the idea, though, how to tie in the iconic Barbie doll in a very fashionable way. And this speaks to all the fashionistas around the world.
And you've got some collectors that are very interested in the Barbies that you have here. So I imagine they must be making offers to buy some of these, right? Or no?
We had a few, yes.
But are they for sale, though, or no? This is an exhibit that they can't take any of the dolls.
Unfortunately not. No.
Let's talk about, though, I mentioned or asked you before we went on the air if there was one Barbie out there in the world, because these are all dolls that have existed somewhere. They're not necessarily custom designed for here. If there's one Barbie, your dream Barbie to have on display in one of the cases, which Barbie would it be?
On top of my head, I say Marie Antoinette, because we are looking for Marie Antoinette. We don't know where she is, so we would love to have her here.
But she exists, though? Like I was saying, these are all Barbies that were somewhere that you've either had, you've purchased them, or they were donated, or how do you acquire these?
Well, members of our team are still looking for new creation, and Marie Antoinette, of course. And we will be very happy to have her here in our collection.
So if anybody knows where we could find Marie, you'll have to let them know. Where can people get more information about the expo?
Yes, they can go on the website at expobarbie.ca. And we have our address is 1455 Peel Street, Montreal, Quebec. And admission is free, and we have the phone number on our website, and they can drop us an email as well, barbie@expobarbie.ca.
And if they have Marie, they better call in.
Yes.
All right. Again, we've got those pictures on our website from the tour, montreal.jbonair.com. Thank you so much for having us here. This has been great.
Thank you.
Airfares go up and down more than planes themselves. Pricearazzi.travel has you covered when flight prices change on Expedia.com. If the prices drop, you'll be sure to know about it. There's already so much to remember when you travel, and you shouldn't have to worry about paying more than you needed to on your flights. Let Pricearazzi.travel keep an eye on that for you. Your biggest concern should be if you've packed enough money to buy all the trinkets you really don't need, or if your swimsuit shows off enough skin in all the right places, or that while you are away, the kids have enough food in the kennel and that the dogs get to school on time. Wait, flip those last two. Simply register your email address with Pricearazzi.travel and then book your flights on Expedia.com. Your itineraries are automatically sent to Pricearazzi, and you could do your happy dance if the flight becomes cheaper in 24 hours. Better yet, you could actually end up flying for free. And who doesn't love free, right? Find out how to save on your Expedia flights at Pricearazzi.travel. Avoid bank account turbulence and sign up now at Pricearazzi.travel.
Jeremy Bradley here, back in Montreal. You can see all the fun that we're having in the city here at montreal.jbonair.com. And I'm actually out on the water right now. I'm kind of in a really large boat, but it's a spa. And it's called Boat Up. I'm going to have you pronounce everything because I'm not doing it. Geneviève. You do it too.
Yeah, Geneviève or Genevieve. That's also very fine.
We're at Bota Bota Spa. How do you...
Yeah, Bota Bota Spa sur l'eau, spa on water.
Okay. So even just coming up here, it looks like it's a small place, but we've just done a tour. This place is huge.
It is actually, as I was saying earlier, it is actually one of the biggest spas in the province. We have the boat itself is on 5 decks, so which means in total it's around 30,000 square feet. And then you add the garden that we added 2 years ago, and we have another 25,000 square feet of spa commodities.
Oh, I was going to say, and there's hammocks everywhere. So basically, you go up the stairs to the next level, and there's even more. You've got saunas, you've got steam rooms, you've got hot tubs, you've got everything here.
Well, we try to make sure that everyone finds their happy place here. So saunas, steam rooms, hot tubs, jacuzzis, outside, inside. So we make sure that everyone really enjoys their time here. We have facilities on the boat, and we do have some also in the garden. So and both of them really have a kind of a different atmosphere. On the boat, we really require people to keep silent. It really is a silence area. As for the garden area, we allow people to speak, to have always a low voice. It still is a spa and a place to relax, but people are still allowed to speak in the garden area.
And we're in a restaurant. We won't get in trouble right now because the restaurant's not open yet. But let's just talk about what's behind me here. The views are incredible here.
Yeah, I think, and that's the idea behind Bota Bota. Bota Bota was really built to be a place where people could take in the scenery. It's right by the city downtown, so you have a view over downtown, over all Montreal, and then you have a view that is so neglected in Montreal, which is the St. Lawrence, and you have some parks. You see Habitat 67, which is a Montreal landmark, and then on some periods of the day, you have ships coming by. You have also in the summer, not at the moment, but at the moment you don't have those. But you have just boats, people just going around in their personal boats. But it's really impressive also to see those huge ships coming in, docking. It really is something that is impressive.
And you make them be quiet too, though. They can't be very loud when they're coming in, right?
Actually, surprisingly, they are very quiet. We don't make them be quiet. They are surprisingly quiet.
Now, we are on the water, and one of the things that I said to you right when I got here was, are we moving? Does this move at all? Because, again, like you're saying, with the big ships coming in, that's going to move the water, right?
Well, the big ships actually don't move the water because they come in. They're coming to dock, so they come in at speeds, of, I don't know, 1 kilometer per hour. I don't know. I'm guessing. So they don't make any waves. But when it's really windy or when you have the icebreakers coming in the winter, these make bigger waves, and there is a slight movement of that you can notice, especially in the restaurant. A little bit less on the boat itself because the boat it's huge. It's almost 200 feet long, 40 feet wide. So it's not your little chaloupe that you have at the cottage. It's a huge ship, so it takes a lot of energy to have it move. So it doesn't move that much.
That's a little bit more relaxing too, anyway, if you're rocking a little bit, right?
Well, especially when you're in a hammock,
right.
or also you can see sometimes when it rocks a little bit, you can see the water in the tubs actually moving. Oh, wow. So some people don't feel it, but they see it.
Right. Okay. So, well, you can see everything that we've done here. It's again montreal.jbonair.com. But where can people get more information about the spa?
Yeah, well, we're definitely on Facebook at Spa sur l'eau, or we visit our website botabota.ca.
Bota Bota. There we go. Am I saying it right now?
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. Thanks so much for having us here today.
You're very welcome.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back live in Montreal, just about to wrap up our live shows here, and I am high atop the city with Karina. Karina, why don't you tell everybody where we are, because the visuals are incredible here.
Well, right now we're at the Au Sommet Place Don-Marie observation deck. It's actually a 360 view of Montreal. It's the best place in Montreal to see all of Montreal in one shot. So we're about 185 meters above ground, so you really get to see the Montreal, you get to see the old port, you get to see all the different landscape that makes Montreal what it is, and get a glimpse of what the city has to offer.
And, I mean, it's pretty windy, but we're safe. I should point out that we are not out in the open air. We're in a nice observation deck. But you can see everything, like where the Olympics was so many years ago, right?
That's true. So actually, our observation deck is there's a indoor deck, and there's also an outdoor deck for those people who want to venture outside and see, feel the experience of being outdoor as well. So the observation deck consists also of an exhibition. So we have an interactive exhibition a floor below. So after you saw the whole city and you got to see all the different landscape, then you get to find out more about what is there to do in the city. So essentially, we invite you to discover our exhibition called #MTLGo. With your interactive bracelet, then you'll get to see the different videos on the 11 key themes of Montreal. Let's say you want to find out more about gastronomy. There's videos where we tell you where to go eat and places that Montrealers like to spend time, brunch and poutine, and there's also different other subjects that you can discover, such as the different neighborhoods in Montreal. There's Le Plateau, so there's a whole section just on that. There's also another section on just the old port, so it gives you a glimpse of what is there to do, what people like to try. And then as you go along and you go through the exhibition, with your bracelet you will scan the activities that you would like to do, and at the end we invite you to do 4 missions in the city. So it's kind of like the Amazing Race.
So we've got the wristbands, and then you get this printout, and I think we're gonna travel the city after this, okay?
Exactly.
But it really is. I mean, it gives you an opportunity to not only see the city, like you're saying, but to then go and experience it. So you get to see it in motion in these videos, and now, well, here's a printout, go and do it all. So it's really awesome.
It is, actually. So that was the main idea when we decided to build this venue, because we really we didn't just make it for tourists, we made it keeping in mind what Montrealers like to do. So we said if it's good enough for Montrealers, it will be good enough for the tourists. So keeping that in mind, that's how we built this whole project. So we wanted to be the place where you start your visit in Montreal. So once you arrive in Montreal, you don't know what to do. You don't need to spend time reading all those books. You come here first. You see the whole city in 360, and then you do the exhibition, and then you go and explore the city.
Let's talk about one more really important visitor that you had here. You were telling me, because there's some pretty big people that show up here. So tell me about earlier this year.
So we had the chance to have our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. So he came here over the summer, and it was really exciting. So he got to see Montreal in 360, but also in our observation deck, there's also a section where you see black and white photos that retrace the history of Place Don-Marie, this building, which was actually built in 1962. So in one of the photos, there's a photo of
Dad.
Yeah, Dad, Pierre-Elliott Trudeau. So it was really great for him to see these images and experience a place where his dad had been and was, part of the project. So it was really exciting.
The only time I ever see my dad, and if I go to the post office and there's the picture of him there, it's not quite the same. It's not as special. Where can people get more information then about this?
So they can go on our website at Ausommet, AUSOMMET.PVM.com. So they just visit our website and they'll find all the information. And the greatest thing is that for the holidays, we're open from December 23rd to January 7th until 10 p.m. We usually close at 6, but now we're open until 10 p.m. so people get to see Montreal by night.
Well, yeah, because we'll have the Christmas lights, too.
Exactly. And we offer special rates during that period because we want, Montrealers who have, out-of-town family coming to visit. So it's a great experience for them to see it. So it's $15 per adult and $10 per child. So.
I was going to say, so when everybody's filling out their Christmas wish list this year, you guys are doing that for what people can do in the city.
Exactly.
So there you go. There's no excuse to not have time to come and check it out, right?
That's right.
All right, great. And again, we've got all those pictures on our website at montreal.jbonair.com. Okay, so let's go experience the city, all right?
Okay.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. One more note about Montreal. I do have to tell you that, and full disclosure is that our company really doesn't pay for anything on those trips. Tourism boards, government, local government, everybody else pays for it, and we give the platform to showcase the city, and that's what it is. So it's far be it for me to complain about basically a free trip, right? But I do have to comment on one thing that happened while we were there. And this schedule was thrown together sort of last minute, because we had talked about doing Montreal as our Christmas location back in even, I think it was September, and we didn't confirm it until almost like the very end of November. So it was put together as a rush. Very grateful. It was an exciting trip. I love the folks there at the tourism office. So we had this one morning where I was going to a bakery, and we thought, well, could we make some gingerbread? Like, what could we do there in terms of Christmas? And they said, we'll go to this pastry shop. You can meet the guy. And typically what we do is we also arrange an interview when we're there, right? Just like these places that you just heard. And so it was just kind of awkward because I'm not sure the guy was really told what we're doing, and I really didn't know about what it was. So I get there, and we're shooting the breeze. We have some hot chocolate and a croissant, and I get a tour of the building from one of his employees. He apparently had to leave, the owner. He had to apparently leave for a little bit, and then he came back, and I was sitting there waiting to do this interview. And I said to the employee, can we do this interview now? Like, let's move this along. And the owner of the shop never did come back. So I sat there for about an hour and a half. An hour and a half I sat there waiting, and he walked by a couple of times even as well. Didn't acknowledge me. And I was kind of, how like when you see people come in for a job interview at your office, or maybe it's their first day and they have really nothing to do and they're kind of just sitting there shuffling papers, making it seem like they're doing something? That's what I was doing. I had my brochure, my pamphlet, I had my folder of information from the tourism office, and this dick walked right by a bunch of times and never did the interview. So finally I ended up just getting up and leaving, and I was like, I said to the employee, thanks very much, and I walked out. Well, I had the shits for the rest of the day. Is that the first time I've sworn on this show? I had the shits after eating his croissant and his breakfast stuff there. But I was just mad. I was livid. I couldn't believe it. And so that was the very first interview, the first appointment that we had there was this place, and I thought, wow, the ignorance of this douchebag. I couldn't believe it. And as far as I know, the staff member did say, you know what, Jeremy is still, he's waiting downstairs to do this interview. And the nerve of the guy. So then I started thinking about it, did something happen? Did I say something? Did I offend the guy? Well, no, we had basic conversation. He's a business owner. I'm a business owner. We related on that. And I was pretty pissed, let me tell you. Pretty pissed. And then after that, when we went to the casino, I don't know that we didn't play that on here. I interviewed the stars of this crooner type show. They were singing on stage. And to get out of there, we needed to get a taxi. And again, the ignorance of the taxi drivers wouldn't take these slips that the tourism office gave us. And so finally, the guy who was escorting me around the casino ended up noticing that I'm going from taxi to taxi, even though he saw me off a few minutes earlier, came back downstairs and saw me going back into the building. And he's like, what's wrong? And I said, none of them are taking my taxi thing. And he's yelling. He was saying stuff in French, but I heard something about reporter Winnipeg, and then he said, bravo, bravo, and started clapping in the guy's face. And this was back to back. So the two first experiences that we had in Montreal earlier in December, I was just like, you know what? City of Ignorance. That is our headline on the web coverage. City of Ignorance. Because there's a bunch of assholes. Is this another swear on the podcast today? I was so mad. And I was ready to tell them, you know what? Shove it. Shove the entire thing. We are not broadcasting from Montreal. I'm not doing this. You people are ignorant assholes, is what I was about to say. Ooh, I am 4 for 4 on the swears today. We did get a little bit risque in Houston. Let's jump back to Houston for a brief moment. When Magic Men Live, a very suggestive strip show, was in town, I was backstage chatting with the host, the MC of the show, and it was a little bit too hot for radio. Have a listen. Jeremy Bradley here, back live in Houston, Texas, experiencing everything the city has to offer, and it's brought to you by our friends at Pricearazzi.travel. Flight prices go up and down more than the airplanes. Pricearazzi.travel helps you get money back. Register your email address at Pricearazzi.travel, book flights on Expedia.com, and if they become cheaper in 24 hours, you could end up flying for free. Find out how to save on your Expedia flights at Pricearazzi.travel. That's Pricearazzi.travel. I am backstage right now at Magic Men Live. How many of you are jealous listening right now? I'm with Miles, are you the star of the show?
I am the MC of the show, so I am the icebreaker, the guy who kind of, gets the audience warmed up for what's about to happen on stage and in the audience.
How warm does it get, though? Let's talk about this, Miles. Does it get pretty hot or what?
It gets a little steamy at certain parts of the show, and there will be cases where we'll need to bring in the fire department to cool things down.
Is that why I'm here? See, I'm here for my audition. That's what I was told, right?
I don't think you're big enough, man.
Come on now. How do you know? You haven't even seen it yet, Miles. I mean, that's awkward. Let's move on. So you've got some firemen. What else happens during the show?
I mean, I don't want to give away anything. We have a lot of surprises. There's a few familiar things that you'll be pleased to see, but there are a handful of costume men and familiar faces, and
only a handful though, hey?
Only a handful, maybe 2 handfuls.
Those are the most popular guys. You must hear from your fans and the people who've seen the show. Like, is there a favorite costume they like? Is there a certain sort of...
The great thing about our audience, we have a very diverse audience, and we have a very diverse cast, and we touch on pretty much everything that one of our audience members might like. So there's all types of different favorites. Everybody gravitates towards a certain favorite at some point or another during the show. There's a huge thing with 50 Shades of Grey, so we have a little segment dedicated to that.
You're saying it with a smirk. You guys can't see him, but okay, so that one must be a popular one as well.
That is definitely a popular one, and that's definitely one that gets the entire room kind of just in a state of awe and just...
We'll leave it at that. Now, I've got to segue into that then. So as far as you know, and remember, we're live, but as far as you know, has anybody orgasmed in the crowd watching the show?
No, but I think you'll be the first.
Oh, I will. That's high expectations. I was going to say that's very cocky of you, but wow, it would give a new meaning to live streaming. It really.
That's
would.
right. Yeah.
God, jeez. So as far as the show is concerned, you've got and there's some audience interaction as well, right?
Absolutely. There's a lot of audience interaction. You can expect a very hands-on experience with us.
Oh, that's a promise?
That is a promise. Absolutely.
I was going to say that I'm going to get yanked up on stage, but we'll leave that one alone as well. Look, who is that's walking? But look what he's got in his hands. That's...
Oh my God! Have you ever seen one that big?
Yeah, I've seen a lot in my day. That one's huge, though.
I think that's a... Is that a Samsung Galaxy?
Oh, I think that's a smoking. No, put your phone is smoking. It's on fire. Put it down. Put down your phone.
Oh my God!
Seriously,
Call the fire department.
We got the fire department here. We're not even on stage yet, and it's in full swing. So you guys are also touring across the country, right? You've got shows everywhere.
Yeah, we've been all across the country, from coast to coast, all over, from California down to Florida, up to New York City, and everywhere in between.
Wow, and it's a good response, though, from the crowds.
So far, we've had nothing but a great response. We've had some amazing shows. This show definitely brings out the wild side in our audience, and no matter where we go, you definitely see that come to life. There's some cases where the audience members don't know what to expect, and there's a little bit of shyness towards the beginning. That's where I come in. I break the ice. I get everybody out of their shell and feeling good and ready to have a good time, and then by the end of the night everybody's up on their feet, screaming, dancing, singing, having a good time, and just forgetting about everything.
I think you're underestimating the Houston crowd. Have you seen them out there? You haven't seen them out there. You've been back here.
Yeah,
They're not shy. They're ready.
Yeah, we'll find out here in a couple minutes when I do my pre-show announcement just about how excited they are, but you can definitely tell by the energy as they walk in. If there's a lot of chatter and screaming without anything even happening yet, you already know that it's going to be a wild show.
Oh, it was Selfie Central out there already. Oh, yeah. And so now, of course, then everybody's wondering, are we going to see Dong tonight?
There won't be any direct dong displayed in our show, but there will definitely be a lot of imagination going on. Unfortunately, we got to abide by the laws given to us, so we try to bend them as much as we can without breaking them. So
the rules are okay. Anyway, you know that half of this is going to be censored. We might even just be canceled after this.
Perfect. You could be our towel boy then.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, you know what? Come on. Don't write checks that your ass can't cash is what I'm going to say, folks. All right. So where can people get more information about the show?
You can check us out online, magicmenlive.com. You can check out all our social medias. Our Snapchat's especially popular. Just add Magic Men Live. Get to see behind the scenes, if you know what I mean, and a little bit sneak peeks of the show here and there.
Now, I know some of the guys were wanting some pointers and tips, so that we've got to get going. I'm going to give them some moves backstage before because they were shy.
Yeah, they definitely need that, I guess.
Yeah, all right. Well, again, we've got all of the fun from the show here. Houston.jbonair.com is our website, and your website one more time.
MagicMenLive.com.
Thanks so much, Miles.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Jeremy Bradley here on The Scribble. We're out of time. Talk to you same time, same place next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat,